On this week's episode, we try to keep up with the energy brought by one of the best trainers in the Metro, owner of Sweat with Jess and Perseverance by Choice, trainer, coach, and dogma, Jess. And this episode is sponsored by Torque Strength and Conditioning. Torque Strength and Conditioning is a great place to work out, and we hope you enjoy the podcast.
We are lucky enough here to have with us today on the continued coaching series, the owner, trainer, coach, and facilitator of Sweat with Jess.
Yeah.
All right, so with us today too is Nick Tadlock.
Hi.
Tyler Ryder.
Forgot his name.
A little delayed. Been a long week.
So let's get to it right away.
Yeah, Jess, how much you bench?
How much do I bench? 160.
All right.
Is that
Damn,
okay?
that's over body weight.
That's
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I deadlift twice my body weight.
There you go.
330.
Has anyone seen it?
Yes.
I
No,
have.
Claire. Yeah, Kelly's seen it.
Nice.
Played the fifth.
How much is squat?
Yeah. 270.
Nice.
Dang.
Yeah. Pretty good.
5'2".
For 5'2".
So you're a powerlifter now, right?
I am
for it?
powerlifter
Just fucking strong.
/ turning somewhat into bodybuilding.
Nice.
But I still do I do, Jay sets up for me 4 days a week. I do one of my strength sets, and then I do accessory work for like hypertrophy training.
In the same day or a separate day?
Same day. So if I do deads, then I'll do a lot of like single leg,
Sure.
all that kind of stuff, kettlebell swings, all that kind of stuff.
So what inspired that change for you?
You know, I'm cutting. Yes.
Are you cutting to try to get down to a lower weight class
Yes.
for powerlifting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because so I've been very comfortable at like 158, 162, and I love like my body that way, but I don't love how clothes fit me that way.
Okay.
And so I want to maintain my strength, but cut down my body fat.
Gotcha.
Yeah, unfortunately my tits are gonna go though, but I can buy
A
those.
lot of titties have been sacrificed.
If you got the back end still, that's all that matters.
That's exactly it.
Yes.
It's never going away.
Sorry. Anyone who knows me knows.
Don't apologize for that.
Booty all day.
Never going away. Never.
Well, that's something you see with a lot of times too with good coaches, I think. They start off with like specializing in something.
Yes.
And then they start kind of gravitating towards something else, learning, and
Yeah.
they kind of jump around.
Totally.
Like I know I get asked a lot, like, what do you do? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I just call
Yeah.
it
I don't know
what
Clydesdale.
it's called
I want to be
anymore.
big and strong. I don't
Yeah.
do
Totally.
anything. I just do things.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I've like gravitated towards what I call power building.
Yeah.
It sounds
Oh, yeah.
nice,
Yeah, yeah,
power
yeah.
building,
Yeah.
I've heard that term recently. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna steal that now.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, power build.
Like,
yeah.
why be strong and not have massive,
I call-
glorious arms?
I
Yeah.
call my program Big Nasty. I think Tyler calls his Clydesdale.
I call it Clydesdale.
Clydesdale.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
I need you
right?
to come up with a plan for me.
Big Nasty.
Big nasty. Big nasty. Something about thickness or something. I don't
Big
know.
juicy?
I got
Big
you.
juicy.
The
yeah.
goal is to just get hamstrings like James Vang.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was drooling over those this morning, and I'm like, Jesus, look at those things.
That's hilarious.
I just had to say something about it
Yeah.
on the podcast today.
Yeah, I love that. That's so funny. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm on week 2.
So would it be like a
Where?
bodybuilding or a physique competition? Which one would be?
No, I don't want to. So I'm tired. Like, not to say I'm tired of competing, but I'm just taking like a year off of competing because I did a few CrossFit comps, which was super fun, just to like throw weight around. Because like the RX weights, you know, were like bing, bing, super fun for me. And then powerlifting was fun, and working with Jason has been a blast. And so
Who's
now
Jason? You keep representing. Who's Jason?
I should. Jason Baumgart. It's his birthday today too.
Oh, happy
Yeah,
birthday, Jason.
totally.
Have you called him and told him yet?
I did, and
Okay.
I wrote a huge post on Facebook for him,
Okay.
which he's not a big Facebook person, but he's sad.
He must be a man.
He is a man. He's a manly man. He's competing next weekend at Nationals too.
Good
Yep.
luck.
So, and he's actually going on his own. Actually, he's going to be training at American Strength in Los as well. So yeah. So yeah, I'm just taking a break, and I just want to like bring my body fat down and see if I can. He's basing my numbers off of my old numbers that I competed with. So yeah, so everything's going well so far.
Slowly bring the calories down then, or?
Slowly. So I do RP, and I have a nutrition coach, Paul Salter. He's the shit. I've been with him for 2.5 years now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he, with my first cut, I was getting, are you guys familiar with RP?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
It's on periodization.
Yep. So I was getting 6 half servings of fat a day, which is a lot for me. I was kind of
So like
ODing.
7 grams.
It's like, no, it's like, oh shit, you're gonna make me do math.
Well,
It's
a half
56
serving.
grams.
Right. So
Yes.
a full serving is like 14
Oh,
grams.
a full
right?
serving 16.
16
Yes.
grams.
Yes.
Okay. So about 8 grams of fat.
Yes.
Per meal.
Yes. So I was getting,
Fucking
yep, per meal.
kitten?
So 56.
Is that like nutrition for a kitten?
I know, but
No,
yeah,
I'm just-
seriously. But I do have a tattoo of that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kind of kidding. So that's for
We'll
another
get back
podcast.
to that. Yeah, we'll get back.
But
That is a cackle. Damn. Sorry.
that's a whole nother podcast.
Do you laugh harder when you drink?
Yeah,
Do you want
I
whiskey?
snort a little bit more too.
Oh, I like it.
So yes, they cut my fats from 6 half servings to 2. So that's 2 tablespoons of peanut butter a day.
Jesus.
Is that how you're
Do you
getting
feel
your
bad
fat?
for me? I know. Will somebody
Peanut
come
butter?
rub me and make me feel better?
Are you eating
Kelly?
just straight chicken breast and peanut butter then?
I'm just, so I have
What's
a
your
fourth a
protein?
cup of almonds
Okay.
a day.
Okay.
That's all I get.
That's better than peanut butter.
Yeah. Better than peanut butter because I will eat a whole jar. Like I have no shame. I will eat the whole jar.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
My go-to is a whole, what is it? You can buy like the $6 thing from Papa John's, a whole thing of brownies. Oh. It's 250.
your thing?
Yeah, I like the whole fucking thing. Per brownie, it's 250
See?
calories.
This is why I gotta date somebody.
And it's
220
9
over
brownies, and I will
there.
just inhale,
Right
and the
there.
pizza, and the pizza.
Appetizer and dessert.
Well, it's funny when people are like, "I'm a hard gainer." I'm like, "How do you eat?" And I'm like, "You just don't fucking get it."
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
I
lot
hate
of
that when
calories.
people are like, I can't gain weight. I just eat and eat. It's like,
No, you don't.
Yeah, no, you don't.
What'd you eat for breakfast? I had like 2 eggs and a bagel. All right.
well,
2 eggs.
I eat all the
No,
time.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Why are you eating right now?
Yes, that's hilarious. Yeah,
So how did you so with your Sweat with Jess, right?
yeah.
So how did you get this all started? Let's go back to the very beginning.
Oh my gosh.
And let's talk about, well, first of all,
Okay.
where are you currently training your clients at right now? So
Now I'm
people-
at Los Campiones, Northeast location.
the Northeast location. Okay.
Yep. Love it. 13,000 square foot of space.
Okay.
A lot of toys. It is
And,
huge.
and are you still doing corporate events too?
Yep, and so then I still train the Corporate Office of Health Partners twice a week out in Bloomington.
Okay.
And then I'm actually going to be training the Corporate Office of Periscope downtown Minneapolis on Wednesdays. Yeah,
Very
in
cool.
January.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, which is a great gig.
So what do you like most about training at Los right now?
The view.
Gray sweatpants.
As
Go into that. Ew, dirty.
Kind of like a live bumble. So
Really? The boxing ring or what?
the box, I mean everything. Yeah, everywhere.
A live
no,
bumble.
I mean
So that's what's great about that place. You can just be like, "What kind of T-shirt are they wearing?" And you find them on IG pretty quick.
totally. Yeah, I can find anything. on
That's how the
Instagram.
fitness world works.
Totally. I love the toys as far as like, leg press, extension, barbells. There's machines. I just love it all. Free weights, everything. There's strongman stuff. There's a powerlifting room, everything. So I love the variety because when I really did first start was back in LA Fitness days, and that's how I started with Sweat with Jess there. Yeah.
Okay.
So I love it.
How long you been doing it now?
Since 2009.
Oh fuck.
So
okay.
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about that leap of faith that you made from LA Fitness to Sweat with Jess.
Totally. And this will inspire all trainers because I'm determined to help all trainers. So I was running group. So I started group training for LA Fitness. Actually, one of their VPs came to a morning class. This is no joke. And I had like 18 people around the gym. And so I would have like people by like a bench press. And then I would have like a little sheet that had like, 10 reps of bench press, 20 front side lat raises, and then 10 burpees, 3 sets. And so he would see like people running through all this stuff, and he was gonna fire me that day because I was technically checking too many people in under a 1 hour training session. And so I would look like I was working an 8-hour day with training, but I was only working for 1 hour. And then like the head honcho of LA Fitness was on this huge conference call and was like, that's actually genius because she's bringing in like 18 people for 1 hour versus like dividing that amongst how many trainers, right, to pay. And so actually what made me, the whole leap was pretty much, I always call them my life squad, but it's a group of people that I've had with me since 2009 knew that they were paying like, $45 to $65 an hour for a session with me. And as a trainer, I was making $15 an hour. Yeah, it was awful. And
it's a terrible system.
Totally, it's awful. And so they were like, we don't want to see our money going there. We're thinking that the money is going to you and it's not going fully invested to you. And so, so I was just like, took everybody's emails just because we were already close anyways. And obviously, I think it was like a non-compete for like a 5-mile radius. And I started training in St. Anthony. I literally started at a park in St. Anthony behind a fire station.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I would just tell people, bring $10, bring a kettlebell that you can do 10 to 12 reps at a time with. And that's literally where it started from. Kelly's been with me since 2009. So yeah, that's literally how it started. And then, that happened in a summer, and then of course Minnesota winters came, and one of my clients, Lori, she worked at a school and got the approval from her principal, because I had everybody sign waivers, that we could work out in the gym or the cafeteria. So we would like cram 30 to 40 people in a gym or a cafeteria, and they would walk in with their little dumbbells and kettlebells, and that was it. Threw the music on, and there we go.
So how many of your clients would you say have been with you since then?
I would say about 20.
So you've had 20 clients, and you mentioned 2009. Is that about the...
Yeah.
So
that have
10
followed
years.
me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest things with group training across the board is that it has a historically high attrition. What would you chalk that up to, keeping those clients for so long?
I would say caring, really caring about their lives.
Yeah.
Huh?
Giving a damn?
Yeah, yes. Like I know everything that goes on in their lives. Literally checking. We check in every day with each other.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and I would also say I do it's called the Sweat Drop. It's a newsletter that I do.
That's
and,
awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Once a month.
Okay.
And I feel like that is something that really shows my vulnerability, like letting them know that like I'm human too, and like at one point in time I didn't like my arms, or I would look at things on my body that I didn't like, and sharing that journey with them. And just being completely vulnerable. So yeah, I would definitely say just caring.
I think that's huge, because I've been in the fitness industry for a while, and I've made the transition from hardcore gyms where you never really had to worry about that kind of stuff into the more, I don't know what you call it, commercial world, where it's corporate, in the pursuit of trying to make more and be treated better as a trainer, or I don't know if that's the right way to put it. What I end up finding is like you get treated worse in the corporate or the big box gym world. But a lot of times people think that you as a trainer do not understand their struggles, do not understand what they're going through. And so I think that's so valuable that you are able to show them that, I have to work for this too.
Totally.
And I struggle as well.
They see now I can do, rock out pull-ups.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't
I didn't come out of the womb doing pull-ups.
Totally. Like that comes with work.
Like you overcame your own struggles just like they did.
Yeah. I mean, I used to cherry pick workouts all the time. So
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I don't want to see that. I don't want to do that. I can't. I don't, especially as a coach, I don't want to modify a handstand push-up or whatever, or modify a pull-up. And it's like, oh, well, I'm human too. So yeah, they can see that side.
Cool.
Yeah, or failing lifts,
Yeah.
Like I'm like, yep, failed many lifts. Some of them look really fucking ugly before. Totally. So yeah, and I think just actually caring and being vulnerable with your life, Like, I don't know if you guys know Brene Brown. Have you heard of Brene Brown? Okay, probably not. But she is the vulnerability queen. And she has this statement that's like, if you are not in the arena getting the shit kicked out of you, I don't care about your opinion of me. And that is how I am. I'm gonna be vulnerable with my life, and I'm not gonna fit into everybody's shape and everybody's world. And that's okay, because there's a lot of other people out there that you can choose.
It's so much better to live life that way.
Totally.
It's hard not to. Or it's hard to it's a hard thing to do, but once you do it, that's something I struggled with. I came from strength and conditioning where colleges, then I went to a Y.
Yep.
Where you have to make everybody happy.
Yes. Yes.
Unique situation where the CEO is actually awesome, so we actually backed fitness a lot, so we were able to do a lot of cool things. But then
Yep.
going into this, you don't want to piss someone off because that's your pay. I mean, that's
Totally.
that's
Your
how you eat,
money.
right?
Yeah.
But
It's your roof.
all of a sudden you find out, hey, there's maybe someone, maybe they're cancer, they don't fit.
Totally.
It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, or if someone who comes in, I'm sure you've had it where they don't like what you're doing, maybe.
Totally.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
like,
you're just
I
like,
twerk in class at times.
Yeah.
And not every woman likes to see that.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
Because
right.
there's other trainers that won't do
plenty
that.
more. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
plenty
and
more.
that's cool.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
Or-
why that's one thing. I love coaches who are genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're themselves. They're not like put on a facade or telling you what you want to hear. And it
Yeah.
might not be very popular.
Right.
I know some people don't like me because I will tell you how it fucking is quick.
Totally.
But that's what you
Well,
get.
I was scared coming here.
That actually, I mean, that has to do with all of your relationships in life.
Yes.
And not just
Yeah.
coaching, and
Yes.
so often, I'm guilty of this as well. We get stuck in this mindset of trying to please people, and I think ultimately, if I'm being really vulnerable here, that's one thing that actually drove me into coaching. But we try to please people, and we find out that we get people around us that suck more energy out of us than and it makes the job not worth doing, not enjoyable, and it burns us out. And
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
same thing can be said for the relationships that you're in your life, is if you're trying to be somebody who you're not, to
Yes.
try to please somebody else,
Totally.
it sucks your energy and it takes the wind out of your sails, and
Yeah.
it makes life not as enjoyable.
Yeah.
But kind of going back to what we were talking about just a minute ago, it just reminded me of one of my favorite quotes is, don't take constructive criticism from somebody who's never constructed anything. And
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
everybody's got a fucking opinion about something, and
Yes.
if you're not in the arena,
Yeah.
shove it up your fucking ass.
Totally. Fuck
you
yes.
have no right
Yeah.
to talk about it, and there's things going on that you have no idea that it's what's going on.
Totally. That's so interesting. And one of my sweat drops that I did was my first RP journey on it. And in my obviously your before and after pictures, and obviously we're in the world, like I'm in a sports bra and like booty short underwear, and I mean I show more in a bikini, right? And so I have like my before and after, and I had a member at a former gym say that his wife was offended looking at that. I'm like, well, I'm showing my before and after, and like that's just my life. Like what? I mean, like that's my journey,
Yeah,
And I'm not here to bump somebody else's self-esteem up. Like if you don't like love yourself and you don't want to put in the work for that, then like that's not my job.
That's playing
you
on their
know?
insecurities, not
Totally.
not yours.
Not
That's
yours.
that's
Totally.
their
And I don't
problem.
know if that's a woman thing in coaching, that like women get that a little bit more, but
Probably.
yeah, I found that a lot in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a tough place to be. Or like,
Totally.
when I remember when I first started, someone made the comment to me because I'm a big guy, but I don't have like a fucking six pack. Like, oh, you
Yeah.
coach? And
Yeah.
I'm like, I was actually offended because I'm like,
Totally.
yeah, I have a
There's
12-inch neck and a six pack and weigh 180. And like I said something
Totally.
smart ass like that. I'm like, well,
That's
no.
a neck.
I'm
Right.
like, I call him like that's a personal trainer.
There's different
Yeah.
disciplines
Totally.
within the fitness industry.
Yeah.
than being
Totally.
Yeah, so I could, but women, yeah, you guys get way.
I think they may
more,
have shit on a little bit.
Yeah, you guys get shit on for sure.
Way more. Yep.
That's difficult.
Yep, and it's all, I think like, obviously since I went to Lizzo last night, I'm like all on this Lizzo hype, but I think like the more women that are more confident, like, Lizzo, Beyonce, whatever, that are like super confident about like body image and that stuff's coming out, like own your story, own what you want, own your strengths, that helps a little bit, but yeah, there's a lot of like, who's the leanest and, who's always looking show ready, and I'm like, fuck, I'm not show ready, like especially powerlifting, like I was like not that show ready whatsoever, I mean, especially like at the end of my powerlifting meet, I was like, I'm like definitely at my heaviest, but I'm also at my strongest. But the average person doesn't understand that to like get stronger, you have to put on mass,
Weight lose weight.
Well, and that's
Yep.
thing too. Like with
That's right.
Instagram now, you see some of these online coaches who
Oh,
are like knockout 10s on
Yes.
video,
yes.
and then you meet them in person, you're like, well,
Totally.
All right. But they're not real. They don't know their stuff. And it's
Totally.
hard to cut through the bullshit. People just don't know.
Yeah,
until
they don't.
know.
Totally.
Like you have to have, like anything, you have to eat McDonald's before you go have Shamrocks.
Totally.
Like, you know what I mean? You have to
Yeah.
know what's shit before you know what's good.
Totally.
It sucks it's that way.
Yep.
That's the way it is.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I feel like they rely on a lot of products. And I'm like, eat well, eat clean.
Yeah,
Simple stuff.
Jesus, that's a whole podcast
Going back
on
to
that.
what Stan was talking about, you know, a lot of people are stepping over $100 bills to pick up a nickel or a dime.
Yeah.
I get that all the time. People are like,
They
what should I
won't
buy?
sleep, They won't fucking sleep. They won't eat right.
Yeah.
They come to the gym and then they want a pill.
Yep. Totally.
Or training wise, they're trying to look for some secret thing. I'm like, no, do the simple things first.
Yeah.
Right.
If you can't do that, then we're not talking about it.
Totally. Yep. Get your compound.
Bitch, you can't do a dead bug.
Yeah. Well, no. Even I'm gonna call him out. Little Tony Lopez, like, man, my lower back hurts all the time. I'm like, come over here. Tested out his lower abdominals and obliques, and he's like, I'm like, discussion's over. Fucking do it.
Totally.
Yeah. No. But yeah, you can't do a dead bug. Sorry, I gotta steal. But better if they do. It's all lumbar. You're like, come on.
Like, what are you, a stripper with that back? Like,
Yeah. No wonder why you hurt. You don't have a big ass. You're just arching all the time.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's awesome. I love that.
So going back to where you were
Oh yeah.
charging the $10 fines to come to the backyard.
You gotta
Let's go way back.
Let's keep taking
Thank God we got Mad Dog.
Okay,
taking
yeah,
the
good
strides.
thing you're keeping us on track. Okay.
How did everything transpire from
Okay,
there?
so my story is a little bit different, yes, because so 2009 came, I was at LA Fitness, was tired of working for $15 an hour, went on my own. For 2 years, I was doing that. So like literally, I would just send out an email and be like, we're gonna be at the St. Anthony Park, or we're gonna be at Valentine Hills Elementary School, like we were wherever, right? And then I did this really dumb thing and got engaged and decided to leave the state of Minnesota. And so, no, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm all about commitment, but you know.
Left the state for a man?
I left the state, my job, and career for a man. Talk
Noted.
about loyalty, huh? I know.
Love will do that to you.
Oh, it will. So, or whatever it's called. So, in 2.5, so I left Minnesota in 2011. And in 2.5 years, we moved 8 times.
Holy shit.
8 different states, yep. And so to keep those clients is pretty good because essentially I wasn't here, right?
No shit.
So during that time, I started an online training. So I had like a YouTube channel. I would post the workouts. They would pay a fee. It worked out great. Came back in 2015, picked up literally right where we left off. It was getting too big. Like the school was like, okay, community. I was starting to find out and knocking on the door, like you can't be here for. I mean, I was making good cash, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, got to get an LLC. Did the whole LLC thing. I used to work for Lululemon part-time. Met Fawn Friday. She had a studio in St. Paul. And so connected with her, and I rented space from her for almost 2 years.
Okay. Fawn's awesome.
Yeah, she was awesome. It was a great place, great studio. And then got divorced and decided I was going to buy my own facility. So I actually started the whole process. It was going to be over in South St. Paul. The construction fell through 3 times. So I was supposed to move in May, and then I was supposed to move in June, and then I was supposed to move in July, and that just did not work. Jake Wandersee, who at that time was with CrossFit White Bear, he approached me about the 1,200 extra space that he had. Moved there. We talked on a Friday, started training there on a Monday, and was renting space from him for 2.5 years, and we did a little merge, and now I'm on my own again over at Los. Yeah.
That's a story. That's a long 10 years.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. I know. And people still want me around.
So you say,
God, that Jess girl's still around, huh?
She's still here. But now I've done Botox and I've discovered being blonde again, and life is great.
Dude, blondes are awesome. I say it because I'm
Right?
blonde. Mad Dog's blonde. You brunettes just don't
They
understand.
ain't that awesome.
I love being blonde.
Your best coaches are always around a long time, though.
They're what?
They're always around a long time.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
there's so many
I love
gyms
it.
in the metro or any other, not just here, it happens
Yeah.
everywhere, where
Right.
the face of the gym changes every
Totally.
few years.
Yep.
You know, so
it's
the
changed.
good ones are
and
always
it's
around
good.
a long time.
Change
obviously,
is great. I
for
love
good
change.
reasons.
Yes, totally. Yep, and change is great. And yep, now I'm over at Los. Love it. Benjamin's awesome, and super happy. Like I always say, whether I'm there or in my criminal justice world, like I never feel like I go to work, and I love that. You know.
So let's take some input from your clients.
Oh,
so
fuck.
Kate, you've been at the hall on now?
Oh shoot.
So I've known Jess for 10 years.
Yeah, close. A long time. 10 years.
10 years. She was actually
Biggest commitment of my life.
exactly stuck with me forever. She actually started training my mom, and that's how I met her.
Yeah, her mom was one of my first training clients at LA Fitness. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and I would say Jess is different because she's got the charisma and she's got the energy that people want to be around. So she's tried to bring on other trainers, and she is Sweat with Jess. Like that is her brand, and that's what she puts out. It's a form of entertainment and working out and having a blast. And so when we talk about how clients stay for so long, it's because of that energy. You don't get up at 6 a.m. to be bored. You need to be inspired. And I always say, I don't inspire myself. A lot of days, you inspire me. And that's what gets people coming back.
Yeah.
That's what good coaches do. That's what great coaches do.
Yeah, people quit trainers and gyms all the time, but they're not going to quit friends and community.
Totally. And community is the base of Sweat with Jess.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, and it's so cool when, especially now that I'm back in Northeast, because that's basically where I started with the St. Anthony Park, but like people that have came back that I haven't seen for like 4 years, that it was just like right where we left off, you know? Or they're like, I've just been like walking on a treadmill. I'm like, what? And so like we're restarting everything over, you know, but I'm like, cool, like.
Sorry, I'm glad that everyone just hates that. So, I've just been like running. Why would you do that?
Ow.
Stop doing that.
Totally.
Quit that shit.
Step away. So yeah, it's community is everything. Like we probably do brunch at least 2 to 3 times a month.
Yeah.
All the time. We do crafty shit activities all the time.
And I would say another huge thing is that you make it, when my 62-year-old mom and I can do the same workout and get an awesome workout, that's huge.
That's cool.
And it makes people welcome. They're not intimidated. Working out is intimidating. I mean, you guys are in this world, and we love it and we get it. But a lot of people are really scared, especially to walk into a gym like Lowe's.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Oh,
I mean,
it's
a lot
tough.
And
Yeah.
now we've got, Jess has 65-year-old women running into that place because
Right.
they're like little kids in a candy store.
Yeah, they're so excited.
And she gives them the confidence to do that. And 10 years ago, that wouldn't have been the case.
There's 12 of us meeting there tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock to just like lift, and some of them like now especially they feel so comfortable with classes, like how I'm teaching them how to use equipment because it's so intimidating, and they're so excited to go and lift tomorrow, which I'm like, fuck yes, like that is everything to me. That makes me feel so happy. And I never even like, I think what separates like Sweat especially from CrossFit or anything is like I have always despised having somebody from some other part of the country tell me what an RX weight is. Like what? I don't like that, you know, because even if it is an RX weight that I can do, I might be able to do a little bit more, you know, but now you're limiting me there. And so, and I think for like the average person, that is very intimidating when you're like, well, you're not at that level.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you're at whatever level you want to be at, you know? Like, let's start you with 10-pound dumbbells, and awesome, in 2 weeks, let's bump you up to 15. Like, let's get you comfortable and and whatnot. And so,
That's a tough thing to do.
Totally.
Like it's your workout, not everyone else's.
yes,
Yeah.
100%.
That's a tough one.
And it's fun for me when like CrossFitters come to my classes because they're like, what weight should I use? I'm like, I don't
Think
know.
about it, motherfucker.
Right. Like, let's
Oh man, I hate that.
Right. Like,
Especially get someone who's really task oriented.
Yes.
And they want to know like, well, so how many reps should I do? I'm like, it's on the fucking board. Do you want me to explain it to you again? or it's like do an AMRAP of X, and they're like,
Right.
but how many? I'm like, just die.
Right. Just move.
Just die. And then you tell
Totally.
and it's usually, I mean, it's usually feminine and masculine,
Yes.
but so you're a little more
Yes.
masculine personality.
Yeah, totally.
But
Heck yeah.
feminine's like Nick, so then
Yeah,
if I told him,
We can see that.
so I told her to just die, she's like, okay, I got it.
I know, I'm like,
Nick, I'd have to
okay,
explain it to him. I have to take him to dinner and
Totally.
like map it out.
Woo me.
Massage
Nothing,
the shoulders
nothing.
after.
Ribeye. Medium rare.
Sorry, another tangent. I saw an opening and I had to take it.
That's awesome. Totally. Yeah, I love it.
Jess has a lot of sayings, and if you've been training with her long enough, you know, like the first one in the door is ego's not your amigo.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
And that's
cool.
you know, and this, your day one is not someone else's day 20.
Yeah.
That's one thing I hate about this world is like I have to separate people's first time.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but a lot of times, because otherwise they're so damn scared and intimidating.
Yes.
Or intimidated, and
Right.
it sucks. You want to have them engulfed in the culture right away.
Right.
But it works. But at the same time, I wish it was for me easier just to do
Totally.
that.
Yeah.
It'd be nice, but I remember
Yeah.
when I went to Wine and Canvas my first time, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, they're
Yeah.
all doing better than me.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Especially as a guy when you see women lifting more too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like if you go to like a good gym, you got a woman
Oh,
who's
yeah.
out lifting, you're a man.
Yeah.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
That is. Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
I've had that happen here, and they're looking at
Right.
me. I'm like, dude, I don't tell you. Like,
Totally. Yeah.
I think
Sorry?
Jess has a lot of good
Right.
guys too that get
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yes.
if you're confident enough as yourself as a guy, and you see
Yeah.
Jess come in and just throw weight around like a baby,
Yeah.
that intimidates you, and they're like, that's sexy, that's hot. Like, I'm not.
I'm like, oh yeah, you want my number?
That 1-800 voice came out there.
Yes. But yeah, I will take two like new people when they come. I
Yeah.
always have them come like 15 minutes early, but especially people when I think of like Jill and Lori, I don't know, I just think of other people. I will tell them like these people, like I will point out and be like, they have been with me for 10 years.
Yeah.
You know? And then I'm like, this person, they're like, she looks amazing. Or Kelly. I'm like, yep, she's lost 25 pounds. Like 25 pounds on a 5'2" woman is a big deal, right?
Thank you.
Or, you know, Kelly's like, thanks.
My fat and fun days.
She's really hot, I promise. Or like, you know, when people have these like huge weight loss stories, I'm like, they didn't come like that. Like this is a few
oh
years.
yeah, I always say
Yeah.
everyone starts somewhere.
Absolutely.
Like, and usually
Yeah.
people get it.
Yep.
But it is tough, and that's
It's very
something in the
tough.
fitness world that's really hard to sell, especially if
Yeah.
you're a coach, you do a good job.
Yeah.
And then you have someone coming in who's deconditioned and never even picked up a weight before, and they're like 35, and you're like, well, we got some work to fucking do.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, it's a hard job, but good coaches make it work.
Totally.
So,
And I think with that too, like with the physical strength, obviously comes the mental strength of like
Oh, yeah.
believing in themselves. And I think that, like I think of Allison, one of my clients at Health Partners, who she like talked about me at church. That's the second person that's talked to me about church. I think that's a sign I need more Jesus in my life. But
it's a can of worms. Let's close that up.
I know, right? And but like when she came in, like to see her have to modify. I mean, we modified a burpee like 6 different ways for her.
Yeah.
And now to do a full burpee, I'm like, that's so fun for me versus like teaching somebody like a muscle up or a pull up or like that.
Because that's way more transferable to life.
Yes.
Like, I just had a gentleman who all of a sudden, and a female, both started at the same time, and they're in their 50s, and now they can actually, I don't care about depth of a squat, I don't care if
Right.
they can squat ass to grass, but now they can squat respectfully and actually
Yeah.
feel their hamstrings and everything, and I'm
Yeah.
like, and from day one to now, and then one of them, he's an older guy, he's like, dude, I could barely get into my fucking truck before,
Yeah.
and now I'm like
Yeah.
a kid. Like, that shit's awesome.
Awesome.
That's really
Yeah, that's
transferable.
awesome.
Totally.
A burpee, too, for a female?
Yeah.
Like, how old is she?
She's in her 40s.
That's huge. Because
Yeah.
what if, I mean, if she's in her
she
40s, imagine what it'd be like 20 years
Right.
from
And last over 120 pounds.
That's
now. Christ, that's
Yeah.
a person.
Yeah, there's the kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
that's-
it's awesome. So I think that's like one of my favorite things with new people. But for her to get in, so many people are like, I've been watching your Instagram for months. I'm like, seriously? Like months? Because me, I'm like, new gym? I want to go.
Yeah.
Like, what can I do and have fun? And I'm like, wow, you like, it's just like taking it back. Like, or when I have people do sprints, like back in elementary school days, I forget how terrifying it was for some people to be an athlete in elementary and middle school, and that like brings back like literally almost PTSD of like being the last one and being made fun of. And I'm like, oh wow, that was over 30 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
we've got work to do, you
Yeah.
know? So like even
They
just
get all sympathetic and full of anxiety.
Yes.
Fuck.
totally, I'm like, why are we crying? But I do like when people are vulnerable in my warm-ups. I do like that.
Yeah.
But I always, sometimes, well not always, but make people say what they're grateful for, because I think of like all the people that are hospitalized. Or Kelly's mom passed of cancer, and before she passed, I always would say like, Kathy would give anything to be here right now to just do a burpee, and you're complaining. Like, shut the fuck up and move, you know? And I think of like people and their stories, and I think being in like the criminal justice world too, of like hearing victims and stuff that happens, I'm like, oh my God, that person would give anything to just go to a gym and squat, and they're like scared of their life right now, you know? So it just kind of puts people into perspective. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So I always sometimes make people.
That's hard. Yeah, no, I like that because sometimes we're all guilty of it. We bitch about the little things when really is life that bad?
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
It could be really, especially people
really
who've been through some shit.
Yes.
Just think about when it was fucking bad.
Totally.
Life is good right now. Right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, it's good.
I
Real
like
good.
that. We gotta come up with a phrase for that. Nick's good at it.
So far, Joe Walsh.
What's that?
Huh?
Say that again?
This
Sphincter
song,
Boy
right?
said what?
The Life's Been Good So Far by Joel Walsh.
What is that?
I didn't
Jesus
know that.
Christ.
Enlighten me.
Song?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a song?
Yeah, it's a song. Tony, thank you. Thank you.
Fuck.
You guys are not American.
We'll listen. Okay, we'll enjoy whiskey and listen to it.
We're not
All right.
American.
Am I out?
American.
Am I out of? Am I out of the circle?
If we play the song, you guys would all know exactly what it is.
Okay.
And let's edit that whole part out. Right there.
All right, Tony. All right, we're good.
And we're back.
So if you're now at Los,
Yes.
what's the next step? Just keep building.
Keep building.
Do you ever want to get your own place?
Yeah. What's the end goal? What's the end game?
I mean, you got the coaching ability. That's obvious.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean,
Like,
it's
are you
scary to
thinking-
open a gym though because they shut.
Totally.
Not saying this would happen to you, but like they shut down,
Shut down.
and it's
Minnesota has a ridiculous. The Twin City Metro has a ridiculous amount of gyms just in the area.
Yeah.
But
was it one of the highest in the country, right, per capita?
I've heard that. I don't know that.
Yeah,
that's a
it's up
fact,
there.
But I've heard that Minnesota has the most gyms per capita in the nation.
Wow.
Yeah.
But what is the end game? Are you thinking consulting, or are you thinking gym, or because you did say earlier that you really want to help trainers. You're into that.
I am. So that's a really good question. I really love like corporate sweat stuff that I do. Like I love going out there, especially when I think of like people at Health Partners that literally had never worked out a day in their life. And now they're committed to at least twice a week, and they've been with me for 3.5 years, which is awesome. And then now being at Periscope, I'm super excited about that. So I do love doing that kind of like consulting stuff. If I were, and Jason's gonna just be smiling when I say this, but if I had my ideal vision, it would be like a strength and conditioning program with myself and Jason. He is so beyond knowledgeable in the powerlifting world. Obviously he's really good with like Ole and stuff too, but powerlifting is his passion. He's actually in the middle of doing his own LLC with his own powerlifting business, but I would love to have a huge, like 10,000 square foot warehouse where people could come and lift anytime they wanted. But we would have like a powerlifting program and then like my sweat strength and conditioning program. But then it would be a place too where kind of like a Lowe's, but where trainers could come and bring their clients, pay a base rent, and make money. And that's what I would ideally want for people.
That's dope.
And I want to add on to this vision because it's even bigger than that. Since I love dogs, is I would have it like a backyard place with a fenced-in yard, and where people could bring their dogs, because so many people are like, oh, I gotta let the dog out, because obviously if you have kids, you can just throw them on a couch with a little iPad or whatever. You know what I
Keep them in the
mean?
car with
Just
the windows
or
rolled
just
up.
don't
Yeah.
have.
I'm just kidding.
Or yeah,
Boom! Buy a dog.
so that's why I'm two. And put a big backyard where dogs could just run wild and you could work out. And that's my ideal
Grab a
vision.
dog and
And
Yeah.
we've also, we've talked about this vision a lot. We've also talked about having a kitchen area where people could meal prep together.
Yes.
Or you could teach that kind of thing. I mean,
Teach
that's,
classes and stuff.
Well,
That's
like-
something that is
Yep.
missing so much.
the Mayo Clinic is doing that, and they're charging people like $5,000 a week
Stop.
to come in and get lifestyle coaching and teach them how to meal prep, wellness coaching. They do an FMS. An FMS is their
Functional movement
fitness
screening?
assessment. Yep.
God damn it.
Oh, interesting.
But
We gotta
but
go.
I'll teach some people some lifestyle.
I think
Shit, I'm
I
really
think
good.
that yeah, people like
But yeah.
people like you and us.
Man, that FMS is worth $5,000.
That FMS is
Right.
Notice the sarcasm.
it's something.
That's a lot of fucking money. But yes.
You know, there's definitely, if they're doing it,
Yep.
there's definitely opportunity out there for that, and it's
Totally.
a holistic approach, and I think you could add a lot of different things to that as well.
Yeah.
But I think holistic, as we're starting to find out, is the way that things are going, because you can't have just fitness.
Totally.
You can work people, like we've learned that people just come in and they work out and they feel better. But what does that mean? Well, now we're starting to get into the psychological part of it and the eating and how the gut affects everything, and so it's deep. And I think a holistic approach, like you guys are talking about, is I think it's the way of the future.
Totally. Yeah, because, and I think too, especially it's when you talk about like the psychological, like what they're telling themselves. Yeah.
Because that can affect their ability to even do simple things like digest food.
Totally. Yep. And honestly, like I'm obviously working in the addiction field too, so it's like eating addiction. And like when people eat their emotions, it's like you're not hungry and you're sad, like go drink water. Or go for a walk.
Or go do something.
Yeah, go
take
move.
action.
Right,
do something.
totally. And so, dealing with that whole piece, and that's why I love, like, when a woman takes off her shirt and works out in just a sports bra, and she's, like, in her 40s or 50s, I'm like, fuck yes. Because I'm like, she has got the confidence to, like, put it out there, and I love that, and, like, that psychology piece, I'm like, it's everything to me for them.
And Nick's 100% correct. That is definitely where things are going. I don't know if anyone has a real grasp on all of it yet.
Yeah.
But like, it's
so many disciplines. It'll take a long time for people to fully grasp that.
Totally.
For sure. Especially when you get into like the psychological and even like the nervous system, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's definitely a Pandora's box or a rabbit hole, so to speak. It's some deep shit.
Well, as coaches, like we're obviously therapists too. I mean, how much shit do you listen to?
I didn't know I
every day?
signed up for that too.
Yeah, I did not know I was signing up for all that.
That's a hard thing as a coach too, because what if you have a shit day?
Oh yeah. That's our days.
Oh no.
Totally.
I've had it where, and then I'll just have to look big. I can't come in today. Will someone cover?
Yeah.
Tyler's gonna be at home crying with Jackson.
With Jess.
And taking his Harley out. That's my.
Totally. Yeah.
No, and that is deep. Like it's hard. I'm sure we've all had episodes over the years.
We do always have to be on.
Yeah.
I mean that is part of the job, but it's just like in anything having your own outlet, But it's tough. Like like for sure. Speaking when I was going through my divorce, like the last thing I wanted to do was coach.
Right.
But then at the end of coaching too, I was like, life's great. This is just temporary, But it's tough. Or other things you hear about during your day,
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's really hard to go do session after session after session. And I'm not the greatest with energy. I call that like being a performer. I think you're probably do a great job at that. But to put out that energy, even for myself, session after session after session in a day is immensely draining. It's very hard to do. And then you throw in the fact that trainers actually have other shit going on outside of work as well.
Totally.
Divorce and family stuff and people die and disease and all the same shit everybody else is dealing with, and it's tough.
Totally.
Especially a lot of times you go home, you may have to program.
Yeah.
And it's not like their day started at 4:30 when they start coaching you and ends at 8:30.
Oh yeah.
No, maybe they were there at fucking 7.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, that's tough.
When people are like, "You just coach 3 classes a day," I'm like,
"What? Have you ever coached? Like, that's like, what is? I coach about 22 to 20. I coach a lot.
Yeah.
But like, I know that's put strain on like for me relationships, everything.
Yeah.
I get home. You're just a zombie. You get home. Yeah, sorry, I just worked 12 hours.
Totally.
And 6 of it was coaching, so yeah, I'm a little fucking tired.
Yeah.
So that's a tough thing. So
totally. It is exhausting.
Yeah, the energy that people need to work out, you guys have to give.
Yeah.
And that means you have to have it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there are days when this is not going to come easy.
No, I don't know.
I mean, there are days I'm doing 2 pre-workouts.
2 scoops.
Oh, that's man.
And a bang.
Man,
And a bang.
coffee and 2 bangs today. Man, no one.
Totally. Yeah.
That is like literally Coke for coaches.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm done coaching. I'm gonna go home and have an anxiety attack. We're gonna do it again tomorrow.
Woohoo! Can't wait for Burpees for time. Totally. But yeah, that's, when you say that, and it's like after you coach, 3 hours in a row, and then it's like getting your own workout in, which is very important.
Yeah.
And you have your own goals. I think too, that's what I loved about powerlifting and whatnot. It was because I feel like all my clients' goals were always my goals, and I forgot about myself for so long. And then when I hired Jason for myself, because I was like, I need you to hold me accountable, because Otherwise, I am just like yes into everybody else, and then getting this dinky little 20-minute cardio workout in that sucks, and I want to do more. And like making sure that you carve out that time for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like every day. It's like I have to work out, and I gotta do something with my dogs.
Oh man, you have to have balance.
Yes.
Like that is.
Yes.
Especially even training.
I sat down in an interviewing a prospective coach, and he was like, yeah, like I don't need to coach. Like you guys understand, right? And like you don't buy the product that you're trying to sell. You don't use the product that you're trying to sell.
Right.
There's a problem with that.
Totally.
Oh yeah. Coaches need coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that's
Totally.
That's been the best thing Jess has ever done
It's
for
the
herself.
best thing I've ever done.
And if you don't have the
Yeah.
money, then you better be swapping services with another great coach.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I don't like it's like when the members come, I'm like, oh my god, I remember saying that, like to just pay, $125 or whatever a month to like come and work out and not think about it, like that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why the fuck am I not doing that? Like, hello, And like,
And at the end of the day, that's not a lot of money.
Totally.
Like it's like people, and then when they want to like, oh, it's so expensive. Fuck off! How many days you go out to eat this
Right.
week?
Totally.
Like, how many weeks out of the month you go nights you go to the bar?
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Yes.
Invest in yourself.
Reprioritize.
Yeah, exactly.
It's whatever you want.
And if you can't do
with
it, then get out the door.
Yeah, that was one of the best decisions I made for myself.
But I don't think people realize how expensive like some coaches pay for coaching.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I paid
Totally.
$4,500 for coaching at one point for just a one time up front like business coaching type deal, and I don't just get coaching on lifting weights. I try to get coaching in areas that I need help in.
Yeah.
Well, think about it
And
over a
it's
year. How
expensive.
much have you spent this year?
This year I've probably spent around, I would say $6,000 to $8,000 on my professional development.
Yeah, totally.
I think I allot about $5,000 a year.
Yeah.
But that's not without traveling and
Right.
everything
Yeah.
else.
And
Like-
that was just for like seminar fees and
I think,
coaching and shit
that's
like
my
that.
monthly. Then you think about fees, travel,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
Totally.
And,
Good for you guys. That's yourself.
Well, no, but then it's just one of those things. Like some coaches don't do that. They get comfortable, and all of a sudden complacent. They don't grow.
Yeah.
So that's
More for you and me.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So what now?
So now I'm just starting to build at Lowe's since the whole relocation, which is going awesome. I am a little bit different in the sense that I also work in the criminal justice world.
Yeah, that is like
Full-time.
yin and yang, man.
Yeah.
That is so different.
I
It's
know.
awesome.
But you know what? At
Yeah.
the end of the day, I'm doing the same thing, holding people accountable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seriously. Holding grown adults accountable. And at the end of the day, I say the same thing, like just show up. That's all you gotta do.
Can we
I'll
talk
keep
about
your
that a
best.
little more? The criminal. I used to work with St. Gregory's, which was like post rehab living,
Oh, yeah.
which I absolutely loved it. I
Yeah.
miss it.
Yeah.
It was all addicts,
Okay.
but they had to volunteer, had to do this. They had to work out.
Yeah.
And I had guys who would try to leave. I'm like, no, get the fuck in here. You're working out today. This is
Totally.
mandatory.
Yeah.
But you'd have those breakthrough moments.
Yes.
But it also sucked. I mean, we lost like. I had actually Ric Flair's son. He OD'd right after he left. We had 2 other guys OD. Relapses up the ass. Like it sucked, but it was also
Highs,
very
highs, and
rewarding.
lows.
Yes.
Yeah. But for
Yeah.
you with that, I mean, that's a whole nother thing.
Totally.
I mean,
So tell them what you do though, because a lot of people think you train them.
Yes.
oh, that's what I assumed. Sorry.
Oh.
yeah.
That's why I
No,
Yeah.
my master's degree is in criminal justice administration. Okay. I'm just kidding. So I was so I've been in probation since 2006.
Okay.
And then obviously when I was traveling, I wasn't in probation because it's really hard to travel with the government.
Yeah.
But so currently what I do is I run programming for the women who are incarcerated at Ramsey County Correctional Facility, and I facilitate a lot of trauma groups. So a group called Beyond Trauma, which specifically deals with women that have been through all different types of trauma, anywhere from rape to domestic violence, addiction, abandonment, kidnapping, all that. And then I run, it's called the Women's Way Through the 12 Steps. So it's dealing with addiction on all levels. So like eating disorder, obviously drugs and alcohol, codependency. And then I also do the employment readiness piece for the women and our men because they have a culinary arts program out there. And so they go through this 10-week course, which is pretty awesome. It's basically like a full-time job where they're getting training for, it's called cognitive behavioral intervention. for individuals seeking employment. So really teaching these guys, like, when you want to quit a job, you can't just quit. Like, you got to either talk about it, work through it, or like, if it's not a great environment, awesome, find something else before. Also it teaches and works on like criminal thinking. Like, a lot of times you're thinking about just today when you need to think about like children and your family and a year out. And then they get, it's called the Surf Safe certification. So they work through Surf Safe certifications, which is really popular in the restaurant industry. And so I facilitate all those programs out there. And then obviously I do a lot of one-on-ones with the women. My office is literally like 3 jail cells in one. Mm-hmm. So I'm like really in the thick of it with the women, and I love it. Like, it is so rewarding, but yes, very hard. I hear a lot of very hard stories.
Yeah, that's my mom used to work for Casa. Way different, but still some of the stuff. But yes, I've heard some of the stories. So it's some deep shit.
Very
like
deep.
It's
it's
tremendous.
So working out for me is like therapy too.
Oh
yes.
yeah. That's amazing. I didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. So that's what I'm doing out there, and it's beyond rewarding, and I think that's why too I'm just so in love with life and grateful, because I remember when I first got into criminal justice, I would call my parents like literally twice a week and be like, thank you for just loving me and hugging me. And so the stories I hear it's you wouldn't believe. It's unbelievable. So so I love that aspect, but I do the same thing. Like, I always say out to the women, show up. Like, I will come knocking on the cells if you're not coming out,
Yeah, for sure.
And so to be a constant for them. I've been there since 2011, so to be a constant for them is pretty rewarding. Yeah, when they come back and they're like, oh, your hair is different, or whatever, but I haven't seen them in a couple years. Or, I had one woman a few months ago that was like talking about how she wanted to kill herself, and the only reason she didn't kill herself was she was thinking about that she knew she wouldn't see me when she was coming back. Like, she knew she relapsed and she was getting being picked up for a probation violation. And I was just like, wow. So to realize the impact you can really have on people is pretty amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has to be stressful, but that has to be insanely rewarding.
Yes.
Yeah,
very much so. Yep, a really good balance with that. Yeah, I love it. I'm so grateful.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's next, Mad Dog?
You guys are running it all. I'm just
So, Jess, where does your drive come from? Because you're doing so much.
Yeah.
Where is your drive coming from?
No one's ever asked me that before.
That is deep.
Yeah.
She likes it. This is her favorite. Get vulnerable.
I know. I think where a big piece of my drive comes from is I give so much, right? And I think at one point in my life, I really lost who I was. And I hate bringing it up again, but like through my divorce, I really lost who I was, like in that relationship. He was an addict. And I realized I was putting him and everything else around him before myself. And I remember like leaving groups with the women and being like, here I am, like preaching this strong woman to these amazing warriors that have
And I'm not living it.
survived rape and everything, and here's me going home to a really toxic situation. And I just like finally stood up for myself over years of a whole lot of nonsense. And I think really realizing when I left, I literally, here's me being super vulnerable, but I literally had $800 to my name. And because I was wiped from everything. And I had my dogs, I had my 2 dogs, I had my bed, and I had $800 to my name and my couple suitcases of clothes. And I left and literally rebuilt everything that I lost. And so I think I have, in the past 3 years, I've just been so grateful for all the people that I've been able to lean on for that emotional support, and to inspire people, and specifically women, and I mean men too, but women especially, to like never settle your worth for somebody, whether it's a male or a female, but just never settle your worth. And if you're unhappy, like staying with somebody to make them feel better for themselves is not worth your happiness. And so I think that's where my drive has come from. It's just like standing up and showing up for yourself. and owning your worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that courage to get
Yeah.
up and leave that situation, being
Totally.
so grateful for everything.
I'm so grateful. I was scared as fuck.
Yeah.
I went from a place of like, before when I left, I was a full-time probation officer. So like very financially secure, owned my own house, to like very financially dependent on a man. And so then like knowing when I had to get out of that situation, being like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
You know, and really advocating for myself, because I'm like, I'm not gonna like do a GoFundMe account, you know. So like, I was literally like marketing my little ass off and finding out how to teach and get trained in different programs to facilitate with my masters and with all the other certifications, and yeah, it worked out amazingly. But yeah, so I think literally I'm just like so grateful for life. Like it's just me and the dogs, and I get my love tank filled. Do you guys know the 5 love languages?
Yeah.
Yes! Okay.
What are you? What are you?
Yes, I am physical touch
Okay.
and quality time. What are you?
Want to get a drink after
Quality
this?
time. I don't know what my other one is. Quality
I'm on
time.
cut right now. What'd you say?
Quality time and acts of service.
Oh, acts of service.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
I have to talk. I have no idea. I hear about them. I don't know.
Oh my gosh!
She'll Instagram you the quiz.
I will send it to you.
Immediately following.
But like, I'm definitely getting it fulfilled in other areas,
For sure.
you know. And so I like literally Sweat is my family. I am so close to them, and so it's like the family I choose, and I'm really grateful.
I love seeing people when they fucking just become part of what they're doing. Like, where you live it all the time.
Yeah.
Talk, like, not just talk about it, you fucking live it.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to, like, talk about it. You just know.
Yes.
You just know when you see someone, or
Yes.
the way they coach and present themselves. So
Yeah.
it's a rare thing.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
congratulations, I love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, it's
I
awesome.
love it.
Yeah.
Super thankful.
So where do people find you at on the IGs?
On the Instagram, if they want the best story of their life, let me tell you, it's pretty entertaining.
It is
sometimes.
entertaining.
Isn't it? It's so fun. Are you thinking about her underwear right now?
I didn't see that. What?
Did we miss something?
I did
Okay,
a whole
after the podcast,
series.
relive it.
Yeah,
What
I did
happened?
a whole series on Kelly's dental floss, stringy tongue underwear that she wears. That I'm like, what the
And
fuck?
here we go again.
My mom actually put on some this morning, so you'll see that if you go. On Instagram, it's just everything is Sweat with Jess. So Sweat with Jess. If you want to send me some naughty nudes, I'm Sweat with Jess on Snapchat.
Like bear nudes?
Are you saying dick pics?
No, we don't like it.
Oh shit!
Dick
Yeah, it's like, we're not gonna put that out there.
No one wants a dick pic.
No girl wants a dick pic.
It's cool. I'll send you my little selfies I take.
Don't
It's
send
all-
me
little
selfies.
self.
I like
yeah,
selfies.
of waist up,
Waist up.
waist up.
Preferably waist
Yeah,
up.
I mean, I like booty pics.
the-
I'll take some of that,
Some
you
butt?
know? Yeah, I
Of
like
dudes,
that.
of guys.
Yeah, I'll take a little.
I don't have the confidence of my butt. I might.
What about like a hairy butt?
No.
Is that
No, Harry.
Asking for a friend.
Well, I'm blonde and it's blonde everywhere. So hey, maybe I'll take a butt pic for you, Jess. I literally might. I'm not even gonna lie. It'd be funny
Do
as
it.
hell.
Dare ya. Triple dog
That's
dare ya.
amazing. That's amazing.
Ass tat?
You.
Ass tat. Do you have
Tramp
ass
stamp?
tat?
Or what are we talking?
Well, no, I'm asking for a friend again.
He's asking for a friend.
Who are these friends? Are they 220 and up?
100 kilos, yeah, at least.
He's like. I think he's like what
100
110.
I get called the Chihuahua in this group, which is fucked up.
Yeah.
Why the
Yeah.
chihuahua?
Well, he's like
'Cause it's
235.
usually Tony, Tyler,
Big Nick,
myself,
Drew.
Joel, Big Nick, Drew.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
let's put weight behind that.
Everybody is 250 and up.
Oh, yeah.
So Mad
That's
Dog's
a
like
group.
what?
That is a group.
I'm like 240,
Mad Dog's 270. I'm about
Yeah.
280. Nick's like 265. Drew
250.
250. I call it 240. He gets pissed
Yeah.
by it.
I just came down.
Joel's
from,
like 340.
Joe's 300. Yeah.
Oh, my guys are like, 270.
Yeah. You should see us walk into a bar. Everyone's like, "What the fuck is that?"
What did they
Yeah, you guys work out? No shit. Like,
No, we take a pill.
no. You're really fucking observant, aren't you? Or they walk up, yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, and we all have beards, so people are like, "Are you guys brothers?" Yup.
All of us.
And then
All
we have
related.
little Luke Thatcher with us, so so he's like the Get Wish Foundation kid because he's like 180.
Make a wish.
Make a Wish Foundation. So, oh yeah, it's great.
I gotta see pictures of these people. This is hilarious.
Well, I think half of us will be out in Stillwater tonight. Mad Dog
yeah.
can't join us, but
Aw.
yeah, if you want to get weird, come on down.
You want to get weird.
Yeah. So
That's
awesome.
hilarious.
Sweat with Jess. So,
Sweat with Jess. Everything Sweat with Jess. Sweatwithjess.com. Sweat with Jess. Everything.
awesome.
Yeah.
Anything to add there, Nick?
Get sweaty.
No, that was good.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me.
Having you, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome job.
Thanks,
That was
guys.
good. That was fun.
That was really good. You guys did awesome. Good job.
Yeah, let's
You
do
all right,
this
bud?
again. We should,
like,
we
Oh, that
should
was-
do a
Hold
We'll do a
on.
group pick over
We'll have
here.
to come up with
Okay.
a time.